Hey everyone, Quentin here, Director of Online Instruction for Top Speed Golf. I've got a real treat for you today. I'm going to show you what one of my swing reviewed students did to gain 50 yards off the tee, and I'm also going to tell you how he did it. The best part is you don't have to be really flexible to do this. You can do this whether you are 18 years old or you're 80 years old. Age is not a factor here. I imagine there are a lot of you that play with at least one person that isn't as strong as you are. They're not as athletic as you are, but yet they still drive it past you all the time. Well, today we're going to talk about what may be standing between you and the longest drives that you've ever hit. So I'm really excited to share this with you today. So let's go ahead and get started. First of all, I'd really like to thank Drew for allowing me to use his videos. I was really excited to see his improvement on this, and it's awesome that I'm able to share that with you. So let's take a look at the before swing of Drew here, and we're going to notice how he stays nice and stable as he goes to the top. So if we draw a spine angle here, we're going to notice how he stays nice and stable. That's something that we worked on initially in his swing review, so he's doing a great job of that now. And we'll also see that he's getting a nice big shoulder turn here. So he's in a nice, stable, powerful position here at the top. And if we watch as he starts down, we're going to see how he starts to cast this club, starts to release the club from the very top of the swing. And what that means is, let's go ahead and get him back up to the top. If we draw an angle between his forearm and the shaft here, we're going to notice how this angle actually starts to get bigger as he's starting the downswing. And what we want to have happen is we want that angle to actually get smaller as you start the downswing. And that's what we call generating lag in the downswing. This is one of the keys in the top speed golf system, and it's very important because it allows you to generate more speed, and speed is very important for distance and releasing the club properly and all those things. So what we want to have happen is we want to generate more lag into this position, and this is what we call the max lag position here. This would be where the lead forearm is about parallel to the ground. That's the position we see with him right here. And we measured all the major winners of the last 20 years. We did some research on this, and we found that the average max lag position for those guys was about 60, 65 degrees. So you can see here, Drew here is at 90 plus degrees, and your average professional is going to be in this area here. Now, some guys had crazy amounts of lag. Some guys had a little bit less, but the average was around that 60, 65 degrees area. So let's take a look at where Drew is now with his lag after he did some lag drills. And we're going to notice right away, if we get him up to the top here, he's already setting his wrists a lot more at the top. So let's get his before swing at the top as well. And we're going to notice that this angle here between his forearm and the club is already smaller at the top of the swing. So he's setting his wrists more at the top. And then as he starts down, he's making that angle sharper as he approaches that max lag position. You can see here, he's in that range, that 60, 65 degree range, where we saw a lot of the professionals. And if we do a comparison here between before and after, we're going to see there's a big difference there. So what this does is this allows him to generate more speed in the downswing. So once you've got to this max lag position, what you want to do is release it out in front. Now Drew, he needs to work on his release a little bit, and he's currently working on doing that. But just from adding lag to his swing, he was able to generate a lot more swing, and he's saying that he's gaining 50 yards with his driver. So the reason why you're able to gain this speed is if we go back up to his max lag position here, and if we draw his before shaft position in here, we're going to see how there's a bigger space in here between the club head. So the more space you have, the more space you create with the club head, the more time you'll have to accelerate the club. The more time you have to accelerate the club, the more speed that you can gain. I almost forgot about the best part about this whole thing. If you look at Drew's before swing and his after swing, what you're going to notice is that he didn't have to increase his shoulder turn or his hand path in order to gain that 50 yards off the tee. The only thing that he did was add lag to his swing. So I think this is really important for you if you may be struggling with your flexibility somewhat, or you've really gone as far as you can go with your turn. You may be able to get some added distance by adding lag to your swing. And you don't have to have a lot of flexibility in order to do this. You don't have to have like really floppy wrists or anything like that. If you take a look at Drew's before swing here, if you were to take a club and hold it vertically out in front of you with your arms straight out like this, like you see with Drew. So if you were to hold a club vertically like this, and then keep your wrist flat and try to bend your wrist back toward you so the club moves in this direction, you'd only be able to maybe get 5 to 10 degrees bent back towards you at most, and that's most people's flexibility with their wrist. So what gives this sharp angle of lag, if we look at Drew's after swing, what gives the sharp angle of lag in the downswing is the shallowing of the club in the downswing, like Clay talks about in the move section. So that's what gives the sharp angle. That's mostly the reason. And then the other thing that's a small part of it is that the momentum of the club is moving this direction from the backswing. So it helps flex the club and the wrist a little bit more to get a little bit sharper of angle of lag. So I think this just proves like how powerful lag can be. But you know what? Don't take my word for it. Let's hear what Drew has to say about the swing review process and also about what lag did for his swing.
Hello, Drew here. So I started Top Speed Golf 2 months ago. Watched a bunch of Clay's videos and then started doing lessons shortly thereafter with Quentin. Quentin has been tremendous in helping me analyze and break down my swing, learning the things that I'm, taking away from those videos and then having a real life application of it. He has an incredible ability just to pick particular things for me to study. He doesn't overwhelm me with his analysis, but he gives me very specific things to work on. The thing I love about it is I can then video myself, watch it, analyze it, tweak it, tweak it. I have the ability on the fly to kind of make adjustments while I'm on the practice range or even at times while I'm on the course. My swing is much better. I am driving the ball considerably better after working on my lag. We didn't have hardly any lag previously. I was driving probably 240. Now I'm probably easily driving 290. Even when I really get into it, I am pushing 300, and I'm not a big person. So those guys have made a tremendous improvements. And then just working with me, I think the last thing that I'm really focusing in on is the straight line release, and making sure that my release point is occurring at the right time. So that's the thing that I'm working through at the moment. But handicap has dropped tremendously. I think when I first started, and I hadn't played in 20 years, and I just picked up a game again last year. So I've played quite a bit this year, and my handicap was at a 25. It's now it's probably in the high teens. But I think I know that if I keep working at it, I can get it down into the single digits with these guys' help. So highly recommend it. I've had a tremendous impact upon my game, and I appreciate all their help. Thank you.
All right, I know what you're probably thinking. This is all great and everything, but how can I do this myself? Well, I'm going to tell you about the drill that I gave Drew that I think really helped him to start generate lag in the downswing. He said he worked on lag for a while, and just one day it just really clicked for him, and he was starting to just really crush the ball out there on the driving range. And I think if you work on this drill, it can really help you out a lot as well. So what I want you to do is I want you to stand up. If you got a club handy, grab the club. And what we're going to do is we're just going to get in our address position here. We're going to start out taking some practice swings. And we're just going to go up all the way to the top here. And we're going to pause at the very top of our swing. So I'm going to go a little bit further on Drew's here because most people aren't swinging this long in their swing. So you can see more what I'm talking about here. So what this drill does, and I think this is an excellent drill because it really exaggerates the feeling of generating lag in the downswing. Anytime you can have a drill that really exaggerates the feeling that you're trying to achieve, it's going to help a lot more. So that's what this drill does. The first thing we're going to do is, like I said, we're going to go up to the top. We're going to pause at the top. And number one, I want you to just get some bend in those elbows there, and that's completely fine for this drill. And then we're going to get a little bit looser with our hands and our fingers. We're going to hold the club more in our fingers. And the reason for that is because the next step is we're going to take this club and we're just going to place it right on our right shoulder here. So typically, the club would be up in here, but we're going to take it and we're going to place it right on our right shoulder there. We're going to have it resting right there. And then the next step is we're going to start the downswing and we're going to keep that club on the right shoulder. It's going to be sliding on the right shoulder. You're going to get the feeling that almost like you have a quiver of arrows on your back and you're sliding an arrow out of the quiver. That's the feeling that I want you to have. So as you continue into the downswing here, you're going to keep that on your right shoulder as long as you can. So to that point, you'll still have it on your right shoulder. And you can see this really sharp angle that we're getting between the forearm and the club. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to really exaggerate that feeling of getting that really sharp angle there. And then from there, you're just going to whip that club right through impact and release that club right out in front, just like what you see with Drew doing here. So I would get in about 25 reps of that. And again, number one, we're going up to the top. We're pausing at the top, getting a little bit of bend in the elbows, resting that club on the shoulder, sliding it on the shoulder, and then whipping that club out in front. So get in about 25 reps of that. And then what I want you to do is I want you to take another 25 practice swings where we're not pausing, but we're trying to mimic that same feeling that we just had doing the drill. So we're going to do nice and slow at first, slow motion practice swings, nice fluid practice swings where you're going up to the top, you're trying to mimic that same feeling, generating a lot of lag in the downswing, trying to mimic that same feeling that you had where you were resting the club on the shoulder and sliding it on the shoulders and then whipping that club on through. So get another 25 reps of that in, really building up the speed as you go along. And then once you feel comfortable with that and you see on camera you're starting to generate some lag in the downswing, then I would add the golf ball and start hitting some shots. So hopefully that works out well for you guys. Hopefully that works for your lag. Best of luck, and I'll talk to you next time. I've got a special bonus for you. I mentioned the bow and arrow drill in the video. This is video L013, World's Best Lag Drill from the Lag Vault on the website. This is the drill that Drew worked on, and I think can really pay off big for you too. I'm going to play a preview of that video here in just a second, but go ahead and click the iCard or click the link in the description below to get instant access to the full video. In the video, Clay and Robin are going to walk you through the fine details of this drill so that you can start getting tons of lag and that easy distance that you've been really looking for. So best of luck with your golf game, and I'll talk to you next time.
We're going to get some more lag. I know you guys really want a lot of lag. All the pros have it, and I got a great three-piece drill that Robin's going to help us demonstrate. The right forearm, the right shoulder, they're trying to come down really hard to start the swing, and we burn up all our speed prior to getting down to the ball. So we're not saving up any of that energy. Imagine there's kind of like a pouch with arrows in it, and I'm going to pull the arrow out of the quiver and then swing on through. In grain, the reason this works is because I can't cast or that club's going to come off my shoulder. I'm letting the start of my transition be across.